Today, another extremely important reminder, and that reminder is the conditions of La ilaha illallah. I gave a series of khutbahs, but now we're going to put them all in a very short reminder, inshallah, so we can all benefit bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Every Muslim knows that the key to Jannah is the statement of La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah. Yet too many Muslims simply rely upon the statement and believe just because they said that statement, that means Jannah is 100% guaranteed. And there's no question that the mere saying of this statement is not sufficient to let us into Jannah. Just by verbally saying it without meaning it, that is not enough to be a reason for us to enter Jannah. In fact, the munafiqeen, the hypocrites, they said La ilaha illallah, right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us that they are in the lowest place in Jahannam. So you could imagine. So it's not about just saying La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah has conditions. One of our righteous tabi'een, he said, his name was Wahb ibn Munabbih. He was once asked, isn't the statement of La ilaha illallah the key to Jannah? He said, yes, absolutely. But every key has ridges. If you come with the key that has no ridges, the door will not open. So, La ilaha illallah is the key to Jannah, absolutely. But this key has conditions, right? La ilaha illallah is the Shahadah, right? We know that Salat has conditions. Salat has conditions. What are the conditions of Salat? For example, wudu. To have wudu is a condition for Salat. To cover your awra is a condition for Salat. To face the Qibla is a condition for Salat. The time of the Salat to come in is a condition for the Salat. I cannot get up right now and pray Fajr, right? So these are conditions for the Salat to be valid. Similarly, La ilaha illallah have conditions. Allahu Akbar, ya akhwan. Can you imagine how important is this topic? All my life I'm saying La ilaha illallah, thinking that this is enough just to say it. No. We have to abide by these conditions in order to fulfill La ilaha illallah, and inshallah we will be all from the people of Jannah. If we study the Qur'an and the Hadith, we will derive from the Qur'an and the Hadith, these are the conditions of La ilaha illallah. You will find that there are 7 of them. And the main reason for this reminder is for all of us to look at ourselves and to make sure that we are actually meeting these conditions, so that with the rahmah of Allah Azza wa Jal, the doors of Jannah will be open for all of us. The first condition. Okay, so we have 7 conditions. The first condition of La ilaha illallah is ilm, knowledge. Knowledge. I have to know, what does La ilaha illallah mean? Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, فَاعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. Know, in Surah Muhammad, know for a fact that there is no ilah, there is no God except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we must understand, what does La ilaha mean and illallah mean? What is it trying to confirm, and what is it trying to negate? It is La ilaha illallah is that there is no one worthy of worship except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. La ilaha, there is no one worthy of worship except Allah, and I negate all the kufr, all the disbelief, and all the tawhid away from my belief. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, whomsoever dies knowing that La ilaha illallah dakhala al-jannah. And the hadith is in Sahih Muslim. When one testifies to something, because we call the Shahadah testimony of faith. When someone testifies to something, he should know what he's testifying about, right? So knowledge is the first condition of La ilaha illallah. The second condition of La ilaha illallah is yaqeen. Ilm first, second yaqeen, certainty. I have to believe in La ilaha illallah without any speck of doubt in my heart. I know that La ilaha illallah is the only way to be saved in the akhirah. I have no doubt in my heart. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Hujurat, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ ثُمَّ لَمْ يَرْتَابُوا. The true believers are the ones who believe in Allah and His Messenger, and they did not have any doubt. And then at the end of the ayah, Allah said, أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الصَّادِقُونَ. These are the true believers. These are the sincere believers. May Allah make us all among them. And Rasulullah ﷺ said, no one meets Allah with the testimony that there is no one worthy of worship except Allah, and I am Rasulullah ﷺ, and he has no doubt about that statement except that he will enter Jannah. And the hadith is in Sahih Muslim. So I'm giving you an ayah and a hadith to prove, because Rasulullah ﷺ did not tell us these are the conditions of salat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our ulama, our scholars derived these conditions of the salat from the Qur'an and the hadith. Similarly, the conditions of La ilaha illallah, because somebody might say, who said that there are conditions of La ilaha illallah? These are also derived from the Qur'an and the hadith. Now the third condition, so the first is to know ilm. Second, to have yaqeen without any doubt that La ilaha illallah is the only way. Now I know and I have no doubt, right? Third, to accept, al-qubul, acceptance. You know, sometimes I have a lot of knowledge about something and I'm sure it exists, but I do not accept it, right? No, when La ilaha illallah, we have to accept it. And what does that mean? That whatever comes from Allah or His Messenger alayhi salatu wassalam, the true Muslim believes that this is the absolute truth. This goes hand in hand with the testimony of faith. The fourth condition of La ilaha illallah is submission. Istislam, right? Submission, inqiyad, submission. This is the core of Islam. Well, you hear a lot of people when they say, oh, Islam is peace. Islam is from the word submission, salama ila Allah. Yani somebody have submitted himself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Istaslama ila Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is ready to obey all the orders of Allah azza wa jal and stay away from the prohibitions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This implies the actual physical enactment with our deeds and our shahadah. The deeds of our shahadah. That does not mean I say La ilaha illallah and I do not pray, I do not fast, I do not obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No, the statement has to be followed by action. Indeed, our shahadah must be implemented or realized in our hearts, tongues and actions. In our hearts, we must have love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And with our tongues, we must say the shahadah. And with our actions, we must implement what La ilaha illallah requires from us. Anyone who claims to be a Muslim, yet does not abide by applying what La ilaha illallah means, he did not understand what Islam is. Say La ilaha illallah and I do not believe in prayer. I say La ilaha illallah and I don't think that zakat is prescribed. No. That does not mean, by the way, that does not mean that a true believer does not commit a sin. No, this is a completely different topic. Submission. So inqiyad is the fourth condition of La ilaha illallah, to submit to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordered and say sami'na wa ata'na to all what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked us to do. The fifth condition of La ilaha illallah is as-sidq, truthfulness, is to be truthful, and that is opposite of nifaq. Like we said in the beginning, the munafiqeen said La ilaha illallah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed many ayat explaining what's happening to the munafiqeen, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala combined between them and the mushrikeen in many ayat also. So this means that when we say La ilaha illallah, we are saying it honestly, with truthfulness, and we actually mean it, and we are not lying when it comes to our shahadah. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, no one says La ilaha illallah sincerely from his heart, except that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes the hellfire forbidden for him. Sidqan. He used the word sidqan. And this hadith is in Bukhari and Muslim. Muttafaqun alayh. So I am sadiq about La ilaha illallah. I am ready to defend La ilaha illallah. Sixth condition, extremely important, is ikhlas. To be sincere about La ilaha illallah. To be sincere about La ilaha illallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ala lillahi ad-deenul khalis. To Allah belongs the sincere deen. It's a sincere ibadah. Only to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَأَنِيبُوا إِلَىٰ رَبِّكُمْ وَأَسْلِمُوا لَهُ, and worship Allah Azza wa Jal, and sincerely believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and perform your a'mal only for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah Azza, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, Allah has forbidden for the hellfire anyone who says La ilaha illallah desiring his face. Desiring Allah's face, yani Allah's pleasure, subhanallah. And the hadith is in Sahih Muslim. Okay, so the sixth condition of La ilaha illallah is to do it sincerely for the sake of Allah, not for any worldly gain. Seventh is love, mahabba, is to do it with love. You're doing, you have ilm about it, you have yaqeen, you're accepting it, you're submitting, you're truthful about it, and you're doing it sincerely. Maybe you're forced. No. You are loving all that. You are loving to be a Muslim. You love La ilaha illallah. You're ready to die for La ilaha illallah. You are ready to fight for La ilaha illallah. That is the believer that loves this Shahadah. He loves it in accordance with the Shahadah. He loves the implications and the requirements of the Shahadah. And he loves those who act and strive for the sake of the Shahadah. Subhanallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in the Qur'an and Surah At-Tawbah, قُلْ إِن كَانَ آبَاؤُكُمْ, say, if your fathers and your sons and your brothers and your spouses and your tribe and your wealth that you have acquired, or your merchandise, which you feel that there will be no sale, or your dwellings that you desire are dearer to you. If these things, your wives and your children and your businesses and your homes are dear to you, then Allah and His Prophet and jihad fi sabilillah, then wait. فَتَرَبَّصُوا, then wait till Allah brings His command to pass, and Allah does not guide the wrongdoers. This is a very stern warning from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah Azza wa Jal has to be the most beloved to our hearts. His orders are the most beloved for us to perform, and similarly the orders of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So my beloved brothers and sisters, I know it was very brief, but we could take each one of them and explain it in too much details. But I wanted to make our episodes very short and to the point. You could watch this over and over again, and I really plead to you to forward these and share these episodes. These are extremely important. Many brothers and sisters do not know that La ilaha illallah has conditions. They do not know that they have to apply and live by La ilaha illallah. They merely think if they said La ilaha illallah, the Jannah is guaranteed, and Allah is very forgiving, Allah is very merciful, and we're done. No. The Jannah is not cheap. Jannah needs work, and La ilaha illallah has conditions. Number one, we have to have ilm of La ilaha illallah. We have to have yaqeen of La ilaha illallah. We have to accept La ilaha illallah. We have to submit to La ilaha illallah. We have to do it with truthfulness. We have to do it with sincerity, and we have to do it with love. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from the people who listen and apply. May Allah Azza wa Jal make us live by La ilaha illallah and die by La ilaha illallah. And may Allah make us from the people whom the reminder benefits them. Subhanallah. That is extremely important. Many people watch and that's it. No. We want to watch, and that knowledge will turn into belief and action. جزاكم الله خير وبارك الله فيكم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. I love you all for the sake of Allah.